I'm fading.
Are we recording right now?
Yeah, we are.
Great.
Hi there, and welcome to the Legendary Resistance.
Nope.
Hi there, and welcome to the Legendary Resistance.
Today we're going to be going over how to make your characters more thematic without changing anything mechanically.
Absolutely. This is some of the most fun you can have with making your character your own, giving your character your own, like, niche awesomeness without actually breaking the game.
Yeah, so without any further ado, let's jump right into it. Making your character thematic doesn't have to be game-breaking, it doesn't have to change the mechanics at all. You as a player have the free agency to change your abilities, change your spell effects in order to make your character seem more thematic without actually changing anything in the game.
Right. Clearly you have to talk to your dungeon master about this to be able to make sure that everything is on board and on table. But typically, if it's all thematic and nothing changes, like, stat-wise, almost all the dungeon masters I've ever known are cool with this. Like, you could be, I don't know, the fish person from... No, we can't say that. No.
No, that's trademarked.
We're gonna get
demonetized.
You could be a car. No.
So, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything has a couple pages just briefly about this topic. It's basically talking about changing your spell effects. So for instance, they give an example and have a really cool art for it, where if you're a farmer that has like sorceress powers, so a sorcerer that's a farmer, maybe your magic missile look like spectral chickens, and so you're shooting these spectral chickens at people.
Just seeing person here and then...
Yeah, so it's like these little bolts of chickens.
Nice.
It doesn't change anything about the spell. It doesn't change anything mechanically about what the spell does, but what it does is it makes your spell seem more thematic to your character.
Nice.
Some other examples are maybe, like, I've done a wildfire druid before, who, obviously it's a wildfire druid. All of my spells are going to be fire magic.
Yeah.
So even my healing word and cure wounds, it's like this, like, warm healing fire that kind of envelops them and seals up their wounds and cauterizes.
I'm currently playing an Artificer, and Artificers typically work entirely off thematicness. A lot of their spells are all about what tools they can cast, and like infusions are differently how you create this. I've been working off of a battery system. Like, my character has an unknown battery power source and has been using that source to like dish out different artifacts. Maybe it's like a 3D printer that prints off the infusions, or it's a magical trace of blue energy that just shifts whenever I cast a spell. Stuff like that.
Grenade.
Yeah, or a grenade, or potions, or artillerists can just build turrets. Like, oh my gosh, what's his name? Torbjorn from Overwatch. Yeah.
Are we allowed to say that? I think we're.
Oh no! Not again.
Borbtorn.
Borbtorn, the turret man.
So yeah, spell effects. Make them your own. Take whatever it is your character is trying to do and create your spell effects from that. Ideally, you're going to want to choose a theme. So if you're an ocean-faring background, then maybe all of your spells are ocean-themed and like sea creatures and...
Like Thunderwave is a massive wall of water that pushes...
Yeah, just a wall of brine.
Yeah.
Maybe your spell effects, you thematically say that they leave a salty taste in the mouth of whoever it is you hit with them. Like, it doesn't actually change the mechanics. It doesn't deal more damage. It doesn't change the area of effect or interactions with anything. It's cool.
Don't be afraid to describe your attacks and your spells, especially. This is one of the best ways of getting into, like, when you're in combat or even out of combat, describing the misty effects of an enchantment spell or a divine location or whatever. You're able to describe how the effect happens. If you're able to just go out there and go for it, sometimes that's the best ways of interacting with your D&D party.
Even if that all seems really intimidating to you, and you're just like, I don't know if I'm comfortable enough role-playing to have that many changes to my character spells and be talking about what they all look like. That's okay. Start simple. Start with something like, change the color. Maybe all of your fire spells are blue.
Yep.
Maybe it's blue fire, and that's your thing, and all of your magic is blue.
And then you can even have, like, the Dungeon Master could use that and describe your spells too, if he's more open into the describing of the spells and stuff like that.
Yep. Even a little change like that can really have a big effect for your character and your having fun with your friends, role-playing throughout the campaign, and lead to some inside jokes like, what color was the fire? Like, what color was their fire spell? Was it my friend? Was it...
Ooh, you could do a whole family tree. Like, different enemies have different colors of magic that the person has to fight.
Maybe your family line all had blue magic, and so when you see a NPC with blue magic, like, am I related to this person?
Yeah.
So things like that can just be really fun for roleplay, really fun for backstories, and they don't change anything about the actual book mechanics of the game, and your DM will thank you for that.
And it makes it so much more fun too.
Yes.
Having unique characters without actually making them mechanically unique.
Yeah, so that's basically doing your spells. You can also take this a step further for those that are a little more advanced, a little more comfortable, and you can change the thematics of a whole subclass without changing the mechanics. For instance, here's an example of what I did recently. There's a new barbarian subclass in the new player handbook for 2024-2025, and it's called the Path of the World Tree, in which you commune with the tree energy at the center of the universe that runs through all the planes of existence, and you have certain abilities from that. I used in a one-shot a barbarian who, instead of it being like the world tree, he decided that at the center of the world there were actually barrels of alcohol that had been fermenting in the barrels of time for all of eternity. And so he communed with this alcohol. And so as my hammer was a massive stein on the end of a warhammer hilt.
Yeah.
And so when I decided to rage, I held it up and it filled with this spectral green life force energy that I then drank out of my hammer. My eyes filled with green light, which was my rage, but it was like getting drunk on the energy of the universe.
Yeah.
And I gained temp HP from it. And that was like my whole shtick.
Nice.
And it was really fun. It was a great way to theme it because it was like an alcohol-themed one-shot anyway. And so being able to lean into that with my subclass, I didn't change anything mechanically. I did everything by the book as far as the mechanics go of the subclass. It was just completely different themed.
Nice.
So if a subclass doesn't fit into your world or your vision of what you want your character to be, that's okay. Just take the mechanics of that subclass and reskin them.
Oh yeah. If you can fit anything into anywhere. A good example of this is also from the Dungeons and Daddies podcast. Is one of the characters is a bard that has always described his magic through non-magical means. Like when he casts hold person, he says, "Hey, cool it," and it just makes the person frozen in terror or in calming emotions. He just says, "Hey, calm down, man." Stuff like that.
Yeah, and you don't have to be massively writing this huge backstory to try and change the thematics.
Didn't you do a swarm character once with seagulls?
Yes. I did a ranger of the swarm, a swarm keeper ranger, but he was the pigeon man. So it was like some dude that feeds the pigeons, and so all the pigeons are following him, and that was his thing.
Yep.
So things like that are really fun, but they literally just go with the mechanics of the book. And it can be something as simple as just one ability. So for instance, if you're a barbarian, your rage doesn't have to be anger. Your rage could be manic rage. You could be just getting really excited or really like Jinx from Arcane, just going crazy in combat.
It could be feeling the funk. You start playing some jazz music and then they just start getting raged and into the funky dance.
You could be the disco barbarian or the rave barbarian.
Yeah.
You could be theme it as the one I said earlier, where you're drinking from the energy of the universe, you're getting drunk, and that is your rage. It doesn't have to mechanically change anything, but it's really fun to role play, which is kind of what D&D is all about.
Absolutely. And having fun with your friends and seeing what they can come up with.
Yeah, so don't be afraid to get creative and change the illustration and add character to your character.
It'll be fun.
See you next time.
Bye.